All right. I think I might have broke it there. Are you ready for excitement? Are you ready for adventure? Are you ready for some laughs? Well, I can't really guarantee that. But I can guarantee that this is the Gaming Galleon. I'm Captain Raz, and it is another week filled with the unknown, filled with mystery and treasure. And it's time we all got together as a team, as a crew, and discovered it together. We've got a lot going on. We're going to be playing... do I want to tell you right out of the box? Alright, I'll put it this way. It's Black History Month, okay? And I don't know what it is about holidays and seasons, but if there's something to celebrate, I'm in. Because the great thing about video games is if you look deep enough, there's something that falls into holidays somehow. Although I gotta be honest, I've been thinking about the Valentine's Day show, and I'm still stumped. But that's a whole different scenario. We're talking about Black History Month. It's February, the first week, and I wasn't really thinking about, February to do anything, but then someone suggested to me, I think Tyson said, my old friend Tyson, he said, it's Black History Month, and I was like, what could I possibly do for that? So we've got a game coming up. We'll be playing that. We've got the mailbag here. There's a question inside, and of course, the chest. But yeah, I was like, well, what would you pick for Grand Theft Auto? I started asking around. Whenever I can't think of a game for a holiday show, I don't know that this is really qualifies as a holiday, but a time of year, and I'm stumped. I ask around, and every time, the same game came up when I said Black History Month, and it was either you should do this one or whatever you do, don't do this one. And I think we all know what it is. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Okay, whether it be on your Xbox or your PS2. I've heard rumors that this is on PS3. Can anyone confirm that? But anyway, no matter what you're playing, it's what system you're playing it on. It is incredible, an incredible experience. 3 different urban environments, all chained together by a huge, massive biosphere of different geographies and activities within. I mean, it's GTA. If you don't know what it is, you've been hiding under a rock. But San Andreas, for me personally, was the best. I don't want to stay long on this, but basically you play an African-American guy, a black guy in the 90s, which, if you ever watch the show, that's my time. The soundtrack's great. Oh, but here's the thing, I didn't want to do Grand Theft Auto. It may be starring, a lead black guy and a likable one, but here's the thing. There's 2 big things. First of all, it's a little cliche. Second of all, 3 things. It's a little violent, and I wanted to try and stay away. I wanted to try and find a game that wasn't violent for Black History Month. And then thirdly, because I felt it would be a challenge. And then thirdly, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the big thing is, as far as I'm concerned, the reason when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, when it really went over the level for me, when I sat down and played 3 for the first time, I got into a car, and all of a sudden I heard an actual song. And then the song ended, and then there was a DJ. And then I switched the channel, and it was a different song on a different station with a different DJ. The soundtrack for this, in my opinion, is really what put this game over the top. Is special. So, and in our case, doing YouTube here, I have to stay away from licensed songs, because it would really suck for us to have a really good time, do a show, and then all of a sudden the song gets claimed. That happens more often than you may think. And if a song gets claimed, that means any audio that was with it also gets claimed. So basically, we may have a whole voyage where you can't hear old Cap and Raz go on and on. Maybe that would be a good thing. I don't know. Let's take a look at some other games. I pulled some games out of the hold that star black people. We've got, or at least they're like, you know, featured characters. You got Mortal Kombat 2. There's a guy named Jackson here with metal arms. Is he a role model? I mean, he's a good guy. He's like a special forces agent, but he spends a lot of time beating the crap out of people. And then when they submit, then he rips his arms off. I'm not sure that would, you know, that's not exactly, you know, we're not looking at George Washington Carver over here. All right. Bo Jackson's baseball. I mean, okay, that's a role model, right? Bo Jackson. I don't know if you know anything about him. I really don't know anything about sports, but if you lived in the 90s, you knew Bo Jackson for one big thing, which was the guy played football and baseball. Now, I don't know if he did them at the same time or anything like that. I mean, I know Michael Jordan at some point played, what did he play, baseball and basketball? Yeah, but this guy played football and baseball. I even remember there being a little Tiger handheld toy device that had 2 screens. It was kind of like a really cheap Game Boy, but it was Bo Jackson's baseball and football, and you could like flip it and either play, you know, Bo Jackson in football or baseball. I mean, he's a role model, sure, but he's an athlete, and here we are. This is a sports game. Not that I equate sports to violence, but sports is like, it's just so, you know, I'm just not into sports games, so why would we would do one? There's got to be something else out there, I guess is what I was thinking. You know, why did it have to be sports? Mike Tyson's Punch-Out talking about sports. Not exactly the kind of game you want to play on Black History Month. Why? Well, first of all, Tyson's the bad guy. I mean, not that he's the bad guy, but he's the boss character. He's the guy that you're working all the way up to beat. Secondly, you're playing a white dude. So, I mean, I don't know. Doesn't work, right? What do we got here? Power Punch 2. This, I suppose, would work, but I passed. And again, we're kind of in the sports realm. Power Punch 2 is actually the sequel. This was the planned sequel for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, I swear to God. But it was programmed so badly that I think Nintendo pulled its license on it as an official game. But the plot of this one's ridiculous. It sounds so awesome on paper. But you're this dude who's beaten the entire world at boxing, and so then the Intergalactic Boxing League or something ships you off into space to fight all these cyborgs and stuff. Sounds awesome, plays terribly. So I don't know that would be great. Shadow Man. What do we got going on with Shadow Man? I don't know. This was sitting in the Dreamcast area of the hold collecting dust. I hear this is alright. You are this black dude, but I think you're like a demon. Or maybe you're possessed. What's it say here? He's coming, stalking criminals in spirit world and real world. So I mean he's a nice guy. Guess this would have been alright. Seemed a little creepy to me. I didn't go for it. Plus I never played it. You know, I don't know. What do we got here? The Def Jam series, of course. Def Jam Vendetta. Fight for New York. I could go on and on about Fight for New York. Totally awesome. These are both pretty good games. Vendetta, I haven't really played much of. The Fight for New York I did. Vendetta, you know, you got that dude there. He's kind of a gang, the leader of a gang. And then, you know, both of these games are all predicated on rappers and, you know, movie stars beating the crap out of each other. Again, I guess it would work, but I'm trying to stay away from blood today. The Warriors. How can you not talk about the Warriors? The Warriors took place in the 70s, Coney Island. The leader of the gang, I think his name was Cleavon or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, the leader of the gang, you could play him, so I suppose this would work. But again, couldn't be more violent. You see the trend here? It's like, with the exception of a couple sports games we found here, it's all just violence. 50 Cent Bulletproof. I mean, come on. Although I hear these are ridiculously fun games. I've never tried this one. You got 50 Cent sitting there bathed in flame, holding a chrome-plated rocket launcher. I mean, that sounds incredible. And I hear the sequel for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, which I haven't tracked down yet, sounds even better. It's 50 Cent and his pals head out to Afghanistan to track down a diamond-encrusted skull. The game, I swear to God, is called 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. Sounds incredible. One day we'll play it, just not now. Streets of Rage 2. A classic Sega Genesis game. Nothing but guys beating the crap out of other guys, walking down the street with awesome music. You got Skate there. He's one of 4 badasses you can play. And the fun thing about Skate is he plays the whole game. He's beating up ruffians with rollerblades on. He's like a teenage kid. Alright, and then finally, of course, Tiger Woods, 10 million games. I actually hear the Tiger Woods games are very fun. You can make your own guy. I've never sat down with one. I do like golf games, but there are so many out there. There's just not enough time in the day. So we're looking at sports and violence, sports and violence, sports and violence. It was like that's it. As I'm going through the hold, and that's when I finally realized, wait a minute. Sitting in the Lucy's, the Loose Genesis games, almost collecting dust, my eyes grew wide, and my nostalgia started to drip over as I came across today's game, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's get started. We'll talk about it along the way. We're heading into Club 30. This is a 30's. I don't know that it's a rep. It's a club, and everybody in there is dressed like gangsters, and so is Michael. Okay, so let's get started on this. We'll talk about it along the way. We're a little behind already. We'll play a little Moonwalker, and then we'll get back to this bad boy. Okay, it's Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on the Xbox. Jeez, I blew that. On the Sega Genesis. A little Smooth Criminal for you. Alright. Why does it always take so long to switch over? It's ridiculous. Okay. Alright, so yeah, so I'm starting us up the stairs here because these guys will attack me otherwise. But this is basically kind of the beginning. I'm Michael Jackson, and I'm tasked with rescuing a number of children that are hidden here in Club 30. And you'll see in the lower right-hand corner, that's how many children we got to rescue. There's 6 of them. And we do that by... This guy's great. He was in the video. We do that by searching around the club. And you'll know... I mean... Oops. If you have no idea what Moonwalker is, I don't blame you. Because even if you were around at that time, unless you were an avid music fan, this whole Moonwalker phase may have passed you by. Now, that's not to say no, everyone didn't know who Michael Jackson was. I mean, he was the king of pop, for God's sakes. Everyone knew. But Moonwalker was a feature film. So, while most people thought about his albums, or, you know, his music videos, they never thought about going to the theaters to see a feature film all about Michael Jackson. And that's kind of where I was. So when but you know, I played video games. I played Sega Genesis. And so I played Michael Jackson's Moonwalker back in the day. Man, I hope I'm not missing a kid. I almost want to... I'm just going to backtrack. I want to go back downstairs, double check, make sure I didn't miss these kids. Because here's the problem with this game. You miss one door or window, and it's like, oh, now I'm going to have to be beating it back down to the first floor to check all over again. So I just want to make sure there's no stair... I know we checked this whole floor. There is a staircase. So we're going to take this staircase. Get out of my way, lady. So Moonwalker was a movie. And I felt like, while I knew the game, and I played this game as a kid, I wanted to know more about the origin of Moonwalker itself. Like, because this game's ridiculous. I mean, let's take a look. We've got Michael Jackson. He's dressed up like a gangster. In the Smooth Criminal is playing, and he's shooting pixie dust, you know, on these so-called ruffians, so that he can rescue children. So it's like, where did this premise come from? So, you know, I went to YouTube, and this week, you know, I played a couple matches, a couple games of Moonwalker, because it's been years. And then when I went to YouTube and I checked out Moonwalker, and it is a full-length feature film called Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, and the first half hour or so is basically just like a montage of every video Michael Jackson was in, and I'm talking like Jackson 5 era stuff, like ABC, you know. So let me show you a little bit here. I'm gonna interrupt myself to show you that there's three buttons. There's attack, there's jump, and then finally there's a magic button. And whenever you're stuck somewhere, if you try magic, something good may happen. So that's it. I just spun a little bit, created some magic, and now the steps are there. I'm gonna check the rest of this floor. And you see that got rid of a little bit of that bar I have. Ugh. That's my magic bar. So I have a limited amount of magic, and if I find a girl, then I'll get that magic back. So anyway, Moonwalker. It's like half an hour long, and there's only 2 kids left. They've got to be on this floor. It's only like half an hour videos, and then they do weird stuff like they show bad. The video bad, but the entire video has been redone, practically shot by shot, with children. So it's like there's a Michael Jackson children kid, and then like the other gang in bad is all children, and all of his friends are children, and it's just, I mean, I guess they were filling time. So look at what happened here. We found all the little girls. And now all of a sudden, on a moonbeam, Bubbles has come in. And if you don't know who Bubbles is Michael Jackson's pet chimp. And he is now directing us to where the final battle is by pointing. And that's Mr. Big. We'll get to him in a second here, but he's gonna attack. He's gonna send his minions out on me. And I've cast magic to deal with this ruffian here. That's how Michael Jackson fights people. He casts dance summoning, not summoning. What would that be? Dance charming spells. Oh my god. Oh, I got him with the chair. Whew. That's it. Alright, so we made it out of Club 30. Where are we at here? 20 in. Alright, we're gonna play a little bit more. Play like one more level, I think, and then we'll come back to the booty segment. So there you go, that's Club 30. Now we're outside into the streets. And it's soundtracks changed to beat it, and now we're dealing with, you know, oh, now that I'm looking at these guys, okay, they look, I didn't realize they have do-rags on their heads. I was playing this, getting ready for the show, I was playing this on a much worse television, and they all look like they had, like, red curly hair. They all look like Ron Howard to me. But apparently they have do-rags. Okay, that makes sense. So anyway, Moonwalker, the actual story of Moonwalker doesn't start in the movie until maybe like 40 45 minutes, maybe an hour into the movie. And it starts with this little girl and a couple friends on a rooftop at night. Oh, jeez. And they see Michael Jackson in the outfit we're looking at here, getting out of a store or something. And then all of a sudden, all these dudes just open with guns, open up on him, like machine guns. And then there's like this flash. Then like I guess Michael Jackson jumps out of the way. The little girl doesn't know, and she starts to have a flashback to when she met Michael, and it's her and her two friends and Michael Jackson like out in a field throwing a soccer ball around with a dog, and it's like it couldn't be more wholesome. But it's like, why is she hanging out with Michael Jackson in a field? I guess they were friends. Like, you had to look at this story in the most pure sense. You couldn't think about, you know, how things may have ended with him, the controversy behind, you know, what his personal life was toward the end of his life. How many little girls do we have left? All right, one left. But I mean, it was like, I guess I can understand why people were so paranoid of him back in the day. I don't really know what ended up happening with all of his court problems. I don't know anything about that, honestly. Oh, okay, there's the last girl. All right, Bubbles. So Bubbles is pointing us forward. The little girl's healed us, and now we have to go track down Mr. Big. Mr. Big in the movie is played by Joe Pesci, of all people. I need to get a little altitude here. Line up, boys! Would you pay $50 for this? Everyone was back in '92 or whenever this came out. Alright, there's the little girl. Alright, let's take a break. Let me save here. This happened. That happens between every round. Let me just pause here. Okay, good. I don't want those Ron Howard ruffians to take out our boy. Oh God! Working on it. It's hard to do both. Okay, I didn't really need to do that, but that's alright. Alright. Everybody see my hat? Oh, wow, I just, anybody know how to restring a harp? Oh, we got some left. Okay, so, booty segment, right? Yeah, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Speaks of it itself, you know? And God bless him, because otherwise, I don't know what I could have possibly done to celebrate, Black History Month without it just being just another show. I mean, because trust me, we've had our share of bloody voyages, but I wanted to do something a little different for this show, and luckily the Moonwalker has come to save us. So let's check it out. It's rough out there. That's all I have to say about this week. It's rough out there. You know, there was a time in Indianapolis that nobody really looked for the kind of stuff we look for. There may have been one or two, but now almost not a trip passes where I don't come across somebody who knows the game we're playing. I mean, I've run into clerks who start talking to me about, you know, start showing me their list of rare SNES games they want to get. I've run into guys who, in pawn shops, who show up with like a chain on and looking really slick, pretty much the exact opposite of me, looking at me and saying, "Hey, how about that? That's the guy who always runs off with all the games." They're out there, and they're growing, and they used to be on the East Coast, and they used to be on the West Coast, but they have slowly made their way in. Not the same people, but that trend, people are starting to watch hidden gem videos, and people are starting to want to find that stuff that either they had when they were a kid, or more often, games they heard were awesome. That's what I'm really starting to see now, is younger people trying to snatch up the stuff that we're looking for. It's getting rough. And couple that with the fact that this is probably the slowest time of year for what we do, and it's slim pickings. So we got some good deals here, but we didn't get much. And if I can give you one piece of advice, it's to ask. And that's what happened here. This was asking. That was all that happened here. I walked into a pawn shop. I went to, I said, do you have anything that you're trying to get rid of in the back? PlayStation 2, any carts, GameCube, what have you, Wii, PS3, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I do actually probably have some PS2. And I'm like, okay, great. So I went out to the floor where all their, games that have been picked through were. And I'm looking through the Wii games, looking through, the original Xbox games, all games that we either have or don't want. And sitting totally loose on its own was a small GameCube game, like sitting on a couple Wii games, like on its side, like on an angle, almost as if someone just, for the counter, just frisbeed it into this rack. And I turned it over, and sitting there was a poor, abused looking Mario Party 7. And that was a pretty awesome start. It's wrecked. I haven't even tried it as is, but it's pretty messy. Probably needs a wipe up at the very least. But it probably really needs some TLC. I swiped a case that happened to be empty in this mess of floor stuff also, and popped it in there, and then by this time the guy started showing up from the back. And he pulled these. He pulled some PlayStation 2 games, and that's what I asked first. So let's take a look at these. NFL Street 2, I hear this is awesome. I like football way better than basketball. So you're going to do, and I love arcade sports. I hear this is a great combination football. Like, I don't know if this would be as good as Blitz, but it looks awesome. And it looks like it's in great shape. So I grabbed that one. It's arcadey football. And you'd be surprised, this is actually kind of hard to find. You wouldn't think that, it being some stupid sports game for the PS2, but there's something about these arcadey sports games that people will hold on to them because they're inherently fun. They don't need to worry about the roster to be cool. Oh my god, I've got all this Black History games sitting all over the place. It's a mess. Alright. iNinja. Looks terrible, and I'm not even saying by the box art, but geez, the condition. I mean, what happened to this poor baby? I mean, did somebody like eat a taco over this? It's just like a greasy taco. It looks terrible. How's the condition? Awful. Awful, awful. And I hear this is a decent game. Made by Namco. We didn't have it, so I grabbed it. Gundam Zeonic Front. Gundam Zeonic Front. Used to watch the Gundam series back in college, the Toonami days. I think this is a beautiful looking disc. Don't ask me why. I love that you're seeing almost some of the top disc itself very raw. I like that silver and crimson. This is actually how a lot of discs in Japan look. That's like kind of the accepted, most of ours are like kind of colorful and just a big sticker. Japanese discs have this kind of look where they're almost painted on. I really like that. And this one doesn't look that hot either. But we didn't have it. And Gundam games, you never really know. They can be pretty awesome. I mean, geez, there's a big robot on the front, guys. How can I say no? Come on. I don't even know what kind of game it is. But it's got a big robot on it. Alright, and finally, I forgot we got this one. This is one of those ones I passed on 10 million times, but this one was in the right condition. WWE? Are we in the E era here? I think so. WWE Crush Hour. That's right. It's WWE celebrities in a Twisted Metal game. I mean, not Twisted Metal, but Vehicular Combat. So do we have anybody here I can... Hold on, let's look at the manual. It's a nice shape. Because nobody wants it but me. Can you give me some... is there anybody... Alright, Chris Jericho is in this. Oh, it doesn't say what they're Oh, it looks like he's got some sort of, like a Stingray. Is that right? I don't know anything about cars. Camaro. Looks like Camaro with flames. Is there... Well, who's a big guy? Here we go. Chris Benoit. Looks like he's... I don't even know who this person is. Booker T. Does anybody care? Kurt Angle? Kane? What's Kane driving? Better be a hearse. Is the Undertaker in this? He is. The pictures are terrible. I mean, I know you can't see it, but I can't even see it. It's like they couldn't even color these. A lot of options though, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, you know, what can I say? Wrestlers in cars to blow each other up. That sounds like a lot of fun. Okay. So that was 4 PS2 games. Then I'm like, anything else? He's like, I got Xbox games, original Xbox. And I'm like, absolutely. Bring it out. Anything you want to bring out. And I say that every time. Anything you want to bring out. I always end with that. And he had a couple games. And one of them was Silent 4, The Room. This is a hard one to pass up. I don't think we have it on Xbox. I know we have it on PS2. Not that hot. But the interesting premise to this, I don't play survival horror games, but this game's always kind of called out to me because it's about some dude who goes into his one bedroom flat one night. I think he might wake up, and then he realizes he can't get out of the room. And, like, the door is locked. I don't know. But I think there's maybe chains on the door or something. But he can't get out. He can't get out to the window. He's stuck in his room. And I think that feeling of isolation it really reminds me of that era of Twilight Zone. You know, really creepy stuff where a guy's just stuck in a room for the rest of his life. Or he's the last man alive, you know, or he's stuck in a bomb shelter or something like that, you know. So, while I don't play these, this Silent Hill, I played Silent Hill 1. This is the only other Silent Hill that's really turned my head. And I think I've maybe played it enough just to putz around the room. Eventually you start finding portals that lead to other places, and from what I understand, that's when the game kind of sucks. So I don't know how far I'd go, but interesting concept. I'd love to see this. I'd love to see that explored more, that feeling of isolation. So then I'm like, what about PS1? Because now at this point, this guy is basically not bringing things out until I say the platform. How about PS1? He's like, oh, well, there's this stack here. He brings this stack of what looks like it's going to be PS1, but it's a mixture. There's some PC games in there, some games that are totally sucking. But we did find some pretty good ones. Metal Gear Solid. Not the hardest thing to find. Greatest Hits Edition. Looks like garbage. What is this? Oh man, it comes with a demo disc. Oh man, what are you guys doing tomorrow night? You have a sleepover? Check this guy out? No? Alright, whatever. This is Jason's. Jason decided to write his name there. So you got Metal Gear Solid Disc 1. Looks like it'll play. Second disc is here. Whoa. I don't know if it's been resurfaced or destroyed. I can't even tell. But yeah, a pretty beat up looking copy. We've got Nuclear Strike. This is a chopper that blows things up. I don't think we had it. Then, to my delight, I found Space Channel 5, a Sega Dreamcast game. And man, am I a sucker for Sega Dreamcast. We don't get to sail those waters very often because we've never actually tried to hook a Dreamcast up to the Navigator. I've been advised that's probably not a good idea at this time, but maybe one day we'll be able to jerry-rig it correctly to play some Dreamcast games. But this is basically another Me Too game during the rhythm era, where DDR was huge. Every company had to have a rhythm game. The game looks like it's in beautiful shape, and there's something puzzling though. The back has no plastic to it. I don't know if you can tell that, but look how glossy the front is. Then you come to the back, there's, where'd the plastic go? It's just the box art. That's the weirdest thing. I've never seen that happen before. I really like to know how that happened. And then also Crazy Taxi, which, believe it or not, we didn't have in the hold, or at least not a good copy for the Dreamcast, and this puppy looks sweet. In fact, I think we even have an empty case of like the original, like a white label. This is kind of a greatest hits, and I know it seems silly, but these kind of re-release cases always kind of bother me. Greatest hits, I like black label, stuff, or in Sega Dreamcast case, white label stuff. So while I'm not that hot on the case, I'm very happy to have a very nice disc of an awesome game. If you don't know what Crazy Taxi is, you're a cab driver. You pick guys up. They give you a certain amount of time to get them there. You get them there fast enough, they tip you, and you get some extra time. It's score-based and time-based. And The Offspring did the soundtrack. Awesome game. Right, and then finally, my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. Final Fantasy IX. I won't bore you with why, but not enough people played it, in my opinion. Disc 1 looks playable. It's got the manual. We've got Disc 2, Disc 3, Disc 4, and it looks like we're missing Disc 2. So basically this is almost useless. Although I believe we have a spare beat-up copy of this, including a spare disc too. So I will probably put it in here, because this case is shockingly in good condition, especially compared to the other crap that we pulled out of the lobster trap here. So that's it. It's not much, and it wasn't that cheap either. The PlayStation 2 and Xbox games came out to $2 each. And then everything else, PS1, Dreamcast, that was all $1 each. All said and done, these are all pretty nice prices. Crush Hour, I would have rather gotten for $1, but whatever. I think really what happened was I saw Mario Party 7, a double we have, and if I can get her fixed, this is all gravy. This is all gravy and then some. Mario Party 7 would totally cover this. So let's take a look. We got $1 on Final Fantasy IX, $2 on Mario Party, Nuclear Strike makes it 3, Crazy Taxi 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, Space Channel 5, 6, and then the 4 PlayStation 2 games, and the room rounded out to 10, $16. Maybe he rounded it out to 15, I doubt it. With tax, what are we looking at? Almost 18.50? Not that hot. I don't know what to tell you. It's a rough time. It really is. But we got some pretty sweet games. I mean, Crazy Taxi's awesome. And I've always really wanted to try out Crush Hour. And I think at the end of the day, we'll be able to pull this away. If we can get Mario Party 7 up and running. we'll be able to get all that for a song. So there you go. Always ask, always ask, always ask. Okay? Where are we at in time? Looks like we've got about 20 minutes left. Let's save some more kids in Moonwalker, and then we'll dig into the mailbag, the bag of tails, no tails, for a question. Okay? So, celebrate Black History. It's quite a PSA, Neil. Really. Nice job, Riz. It's beautiful. Getting death threats. Alright. There we go. Okay, Michael's back. Oops. Thank you. Alright. And here we go. Just beat it. Now, where are the kids in this one? Well, in the trunks of cars, of course. It's a parking garage. Where else would they be? There's one. Hey, see those guys with the machine guns? Now it's getting serious. Wow, look at them just jump into action there. With their rapid fire machine gun. Those are the guys that gunned down Michael in the movie. And so getting back to the movie, this little girl has this flashback of her and Michael, you know, in a soccer field. They're in a field with a soccer ball. It's not a soccer field. Like a field of flowers with a soccer ball. They're throwing it around. The flashback ends, and then all of a sudden, like, Joe Pesci shows up. Where all the guys are, and he is laughing like he loves that Michael Jackson has been killed, and he says, you know, let's get the body, and he goes over to where Michael Jackson's white blazer is, or was, or something, like the steps, and he sees it's not his body. So all of a sudden, Joe Pesci goes all, you know, Casino or Goodfellas, and he's like, go find him, and so then it's like this. I mean, like 6 or 7 minute chase scene through like these dark, you know, streets that look like they were, you know, out of like a Zemeckis film or Spielberg. You know, it's got this. They're trying to be sinister, you know, but it's got this very Disney-like veneer to the whole thing. And the lighting is just a little too nice. So 7 minutes pass, and the kids are running around the rooftops looking for Michael. And I think they have some sort of note to meet Michael at Club 30, which is where we just left. But before they... Okay, Bubbles. Is it time for action? Alright, I gotta be serious. It's dancing time. I will catch you, Joe Pesci. And... dance! Oh, where are they going? Oh. What, those guys don't dance? They're freaked out by rhythm. Alright, fair enough. Oh, jeez. Maybe they're classic rock fans. I'm gonna finish this guy off with style. Oh! Oh, no, Neil. Michael, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to... Can we all just forget that happened? Please? I was stupid, and I tried to throw my hat at the guy, and he shot me. Who would have thought a bullet would beat a fedora? I'm sorry, it'll just be a minute. I get worse at this every week. Alright. I get people telling me, you know, I love when you die. That's not what I want to hear! It's my favorite part, because we know you're planning something, and then you die. Yeah, yeah. Fatty fall down. I get it. Come here. Come here. Where's he going? It's like they know where to stand. And I'm not going to get up because I had no idea those bullets would take so much off. Alright, sorry. I'm here. Okay, so where were we with the story of Moonwalker? The tale of Moonwalker. So Joe Pesci corners Michael in an alley with all his soldiers. And the soldiers are lined up. Check this out. Sewer? Oh, magic. It's magic, baby. These guys are just checking the sewers. They're hiding little girls down here. So Joe Pesci corners Michael. And all of a sudden, there's this shot of the wall, and you see the shadow of Michael Jackson turn from Michael Jackson in a fedora to a car. Like a futuristic car. Like, wants to be a DeLorean, but can't exactly be a DeLorean, otherwise everyone's going to call the movie Back to the Future. So, now Michael Jackson is a car. And he zooms his way out of the alley, past the gang members, as a car. So now Joe Pesci is furious, and he's like, find the car, find the car. And Michael Jackson drives himself to Club 30, which is where the kids are. And the little girl sees the shadow special effect again, because like Michael Jackson pulls up, and they're in the alley, but he doesn't know they're there. And so she's watching him around the corner, and so she can see his shadow. And again, it's the car changes into Michael Jackson's shadow. And so she's amazed, obviously, as are all of us. And, whoa, hello. What? I love their hopping. They hop like bunnies. Oh, no. Okay, good. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ah, that's a mine. Who put all these mines here? Don't people live in these apartments? So anyway, so Michael Jackson turns back into a guy, and they're all like, oh, Michael, Michael! And they all go into Club 30 together. Is that right? I think he may leave them outside, or maybe they don't tell him he's around. But anyway, he goes into Club 30, and then it's basically the entire Smooth Criminal video with, you know, mobsters and, you know, dancing and flappers. Alright, here we go. I'll catch you. I'm not trying to actively chase you, apparently, but I'll catch you. Oh no, it's the dog. The dog's not cool. I don't even use magic on the dog because... Oh, I killed it. Oh, thank God. Secret's not to use magic on the dog. I've learned that. Okay, one more level, and then we're going to wrap her, I think. Yeah. That's it! He's turned into the car! You see that? What? So anyway, the smooth... Yeah, and obviously, as you can see... Oh, and I haven't showed you the coolest thing. You want to see the neatest thing in this game? You want to know why he's called the Moonwalker? Let me show you. Hold on, let me kill this stupid zombie. Here we go. Yes, that's right. You can moonwalk. Ah! Oh! Like you don't get beat up by these zombies. Look at that. Do it as much as you want, folks, because who would want to moonwalk in Moonwalker? So yeah, he fights off all the mobsters in Club 30. And then I think he gets kidnapped, I think? Maybe? Yeah. Like all the soldiers surround Club 30 as he's dancing. And so they abduct him, and they take him to, like, Mr. Big's headquarters. And Mr. Big's pissed, and apparently he's like a drug dealer. And he has kidnapped the little girl and is going to inject the little girl with drugs. And that's all they say it is. It's just drugs. He's a drug dealer. He just wants to have I think he literally says, I just want everyone to do drugs. And I want them to get them for me. So he's about to eject the little girl, and Michael Jackson is like a prisoner in this like concrete stadium looking thing. So it's open, no ceiling. All the soldiers are around, you know, watching him, guarding him. And I think like the other two kids are watching the whole thing, and they try to help Michael Jackson by wishing on a star. Alright, where are we going, Bubbles? Right here? I hope this works. Thriller! Do Thriller, dude! Yes. That's not Thriller, though. I wonder if they play Thriller in this. Is that it? Oh, thank God. That's good. I think that's probably a good place to stop. Yeah, we'll wrap her there. Thank you, Michael. So yeah, there's zombies. There's dancing. We'll just stop right there. Thank you. Thanks, Mikey. Oh my God. It's so hard to get to the volume. I'm sorry. Oh, jeez. And now I'm stuck. Okay. Woo! How dignifying. Anyway. How does it all end? The girls are about to get drugged. Michael's in prison. He can't do anything about it. The two kids who are left and free and hiding in the bushes on a high place where you can see where Michael is a prisoner. They wish on a star. The star comes down from the heavens and hits Michael Jackson. And all of a sudden, Michael Jackson transforms into a giant, like, 50-foot tall robot with lasers coming out of his chest. And just starts blowing everything apart. And then he eventually takes down Joe Pesci. And he grabs all the... I think he brings the kids to safety. But then he turns into an even bigger spaceship. And flies off into the cosmos. And they're all like, he has to leave. Goodbye, Michael. And that's Moonwalker, dude. Like, that was a motion picture. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. You know, for a kid like me in my teens who just wanted to play Sega Genesis games, I had no idea that this actually happened. And the funny thing about the video game we're playing is if there's some sort of Easter egg where if you do something in each level, I don't know what they are, the falling star will show up on the screen, and if you happen to jump at it and grab it at the right time, you will in fact turn into the Michael Jackson robot, and you can fly and shoot lasers out of your chest and your eyes and finish the level. Sorry we didn't get to see that. I'm not a Michael Jackson expert, Michael Jackson Moonwalker expert, but I think we had a lot of fun here. Zombies, mobsters, you know, gang members, children to save, and you get to dance all the way through it. Talk about a great game. This game is actually really hard to... It's not that it's hard to find, but it's in high demand. This game's got a severe cult following, and I think it's well deserved. Not only for the premise, but also the game itself is pretty solid and fun. And who wouldn't get a chuckle if you pop this guy out? In fact, let me show you the box art. I've never done this before. I'm going to pull the cart out of the navigator. I hope that we don't go off the air doing this, but the box art's too beautiful, and I don't happen to have the box, so let me get it for you. Okay, here it is. You see that? That's the power of the Sega Genesis for you, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. You can't even see the label. Effing beautiful. What's that blue? Oh, that's. I think that blue thing's him as the spaceship. So it's 3 different images of Michael Jackson and a rainbow. Beautiful. Okay, let's check the mailbag. What do we got? All the way down here, electronically sent. We have a mail question, and it comes from Captain Tyson all the way out in the USS Cincinnati. What's he have for us today? Dear Cap and Raz, you say that the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, is your favorite all-time system, correct? What is your all-time favorite NES game? And if it hasn't been updated to new systems, should it be? And if it's Zelda, what's your number 2? It's not Zelda, so don't sweat that. Thank you for the question, by the way. Let's see. As I'm reading it, the first thing that came to mind was Archon. Archon's not a game we played, not a game we talk about a lot, but it's basically chess. And the biggest difference is that the pieces are fantastic creatures. Like there's a phoenix and wizards and knights and goblins, and they're on a chessboard. And instead of just taking a piece like in chess and then it's over, if you try to take the other guy's piece, the 2 of your pieces, you and your opponent's piece, are transported into a 1-screen wide dungeon that they're stuck in, a deathmatch arena where they fight to the death. And depending on what piece it is they'll have a different power. Like the sorceress can shoot lightning bolts, whereas the goblins only got a stupid club. The phoenix can like blow itself up and be invincible for a second, and if anything's near it, it gets incinerated. So, you got to work as a team. There's strategy involved, and I would say it's the best competitive experience on the NES. And I'm a sucker for Might and Magic. I'm a sucker for competitive play, and that game really kind of never gets old. Now, that's to say 2-player. 1-player it would probably have to be Ultima, The Quest for the Avatar. Believe it or not, there's a lot of RPGs on the NES, and I played a good amount of them. But Ultima Quest for the Avatar had multiple. It was the closest I ever got to playing an Elder Scrolls game on the NES. I'll just put it that way. Lots of replayability there. That one would keep me busy for a long, long time. I remember 2 summers ago, I think I spent a month just in the hot air playing that game and having a blast. It's a hard question, Tyson. I mean, the NES has an incredible library. It's hard to give a favorite. Castlevania 3 is really up there. I'm trying to think of a game that's got both good 2-player and good 1-player, and I don't know. I'd probably have to give it up to Archon, because at least that's one that I can always show a friend, and it's pretty accessible. There's only 1 attack for each guy. I mean, it's not that hard to come across. It's also pretty cheap. So yeah, I guess I'd give it to Archon. I always loved that game. I mean, since I was like 19 when I first played it, I've loved that game. So yeah. Probably Archon. Thanks for the question. If you have a question for the Gaming Galleon, you can email it to gaminggalleon@gmail.com. Trust me, there is plenty of room for your question. If you mail today, it will probably be on the next episode. It's that likely, okay? Anyway, thanks for coming with us. Thanks for playing Michael Jackson's Moonwalker with me and celebrating Black History Month. I mean, oh, God, excuse me. Have fun with it. Have fun with the time you're in, because it's not going to come for at least another year. So, that's it for the voyage. Should I have a drink? Where's the mug? Uh-oh. I knew I forgot something. Everybody see my mug? Are we over in time? Slightly. Farewell and adieu to ye Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, ye ladies of Spain. For we received orders for to sail to Club 30, and we may never see ye fair ladies again. They're just another part of me.